Now with the advanced solution, you can land on any tab you want when logging into the system. I've chose to land on the dashboard tab. And the dashboard tab is where I explain you can see your fleet at a glance. So whether that means you're interested in idle time, stops, driving behavior, you can look at all of that really quickly on the screen. Now, when you're looking at these graphs, if you want more specific information, all you have to do is actually click on the graph of your interest. It'll export that into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can view the information that was on the graph, as well as go to the Report tab to see more of a breakdown of that information. Now moving on to the Map tab, in the left-hand corner, you can choose the drop-down tab and select all vehicles or specific individual vehicles that you were looking for to look where their current location was. On the map, you can see where all the vehicles are located at. And if you want to see specifically where a vehicle is located at, you can actually just click right on that truck on the left, and it'll bring the location of that truck on the map. If you click right on the truck, you can actually see different options show up. The one I'm going to concentrate on is Show Trip, which is also known as the breadcrumb trail. So that's where you're going to be able to see the path that a vehicle has taken for any given day or time that you choose. Now on this path, you're going to be able to see that breakdown, that breadcrumb trail on exactly where that vehicle went. Now, it does not update in time increments. It actually updates by driver behavior. So what that means is, as a speed adjusts or they turn or they make a different direction, all of that information is being recorded. Now, on the left-hand side, if you notice, there's little triangles with little exclamation points in them. This is just saying, hey, you've set up some sort of alert for your guys, and they've broken that. So for this specific vehicle, if you hover your mouse over it, it'll tell you they broke an idling rule. We'll get into the rules in a little bit second, but just wanted you aware of what those triangles meant. Now, if we go ahead and go back to the map screen, you can see here that there's a zone or a geofence set up. So that's a place of an interest that somebody wants to know when a vehicle enters and leaves. So you can set these up very easily. So it's the top middle of my screen. You can see an Add Zone button. This will be anywhere when you're looking at a map. And all you have to do is start drawing. Now, as soon as you connect those little dots, it's going to prompt you to save it. So you would just name it, choose the color you want on it, anything else that you want to customize it for, and you go ahead and click Save. And then you'd have that geofence saved on the map. So anytime a vehicle would enter or leave, you know, on your discretion, you could be notified about that. Moving down to the Vehicles tab, simply where your vehicles are listed. So you'll have a list of everything, and you can change the name of the vehicle at any time by editing it. And then also towards the right-hand side of my screen, there's a magnifying glass. So if you wanted to view the vehicle on the map, you could do so as well. Moving down to the Activity tab, the first one here is a Risk Management Report, which is a report that would actually tell you who's at risk of having an accident. It's going to compile the information of the speeding, hard braking, harsh cornering. All of that will be put together so you can see, okay, Bob's at the top of the list. We need to have a discussion with him about his driving behavior. The next one down is the speed profile, and you're going to be able to show the speed of the vehicle through a period of time. Drivers congregating is a great report for you to find out if your drivers are congregating during working hours. Sometimes we find out that, 3 o'clock every day, a group of the employees are meeting together and having coffee. It could be an issue for some customers, so it's a great report to have. Work hours, this would be something to set up if a company is going off the time the drivers start the ignition to the time they shut it off, and that's how they're paying their guys. So they can actually input what their work hours are, find out if they're, traveling outside of work hours, are they using the vehicle for personal use, and then of course at the end of the week they can actually run a time card on the time they started their vehicle and ended. We do have IFTA reporting here in the system as well, so anybody who does state mileage, it will tell you which vehicles entered what states, when they entered, when they exited, and the current odometer readings for both of those as well. And then, of course, the total mileage that they traveled in those states. The next one is the View Accidents and Log Data. This is always a report that I would hope that nobody would ever have to use, but if a vehicle was in an accident, it will give you the detailed list of every device log, including position, engine data, and the accelerometer leading up to an accident. So if the driver's not at fault for it, obviously this could really help a company. However, if the driver is at fault for the accident, it's not going to help them so much. This one here is the reminders, and this is going to be for preventative maintenance. So things such as oil changes, tire rotations, you can set all of those up in the system, and you can do those by months, mileage, or engine hours. Moving down to the Zones and Messaging tab, we kind of covered zones already on the map, how to add them simply in there. If you click on this right here, you'd be able to see the list and the setup for all of the zones that you've set up for customers. If you find out you have quite a few that you want to input in, instead of drawing them on the map, which sometimes seems unrealistic for customers, you can import them in by an Excel spreadsheet. Very simple to do. You would just use the below format, and then everything would be uploaded at one time for you. Customer visits is the report that you can run to see which vehicles entered those zones that you have set up, how long they were there for, etc. So if it's for verifying something for a customer, or you just want to see what they're doing during the day, you could always run that report. We do have routing in the system, but I want to note that this is not route optimization. So what that means is if your drivers stay on the same path each day, you can draw that on the map and actually run a report then that will tell you, did your drivers stay on that route or did they go off of it? In the section, this is where you're going to set up those alerts for your guys. So whether it's things you don't want them doing or you just want to know about, you can set them up. So they're broken into 3 categories. And the first one is safety, and that includes harsh braking, hard acceleration, harsh cornering, speeding, which is off the posted speed, seatbelt use, after-hours usage, and possible accident. The next category is productivity, which includes idling, late arrival, early leaves, unauthorized home stops, too much office time, long lunch, and long stops during working hours. And then the last category is fleet, which includes fleet idling, engine light on, battery drain, unauthorized device removal, engine abuse, and backing up when leaving. Now, once you have all of these alerts set up, you can set them up for individual vehicles or for all of them. That is completely up to you. But once you have them set up, you can run a report on the exceptions tab here on the left, so you can see who violated those rules, when and where. With these rules as well, if you want to be notified about them when they occur, you can also have that as well. The bottom part here is the Groups tab, so it's a good way to organize your fleet very simply. So you can see you could have the main company group, and say you had 3 divisions underneath that group, and then in each division, who was under that division. So it's just a nice way to organize your stuff in a tree. The last portion down here is the Administration tab. In the Report section and Report Views, this is going to be where you can see all the reports in the system, and this is where you would set them up. So you can see them on your Dashboard tab, or if you want them emailed to you, everything would be listed in here. So as you kind of scroll through here, we'll just look at the trips detailed report. We'll click right on it. At the top here, we're just going to click Export, which is going to take that report out of the system, and you can see exactly what would be in that report if you set it up. And if you wanted to change anything in that report, you would do that underneath the Summary tab. You could just click on any one of these. Let's enable the report here. Click on any one of them, and you'll see this pivot table come up on the right. And you can unclick things or check things that you wanted on the report. All that can be customized. Once you would be done, you would just click Save on your desktop, and then upload it back into the system. And then you could change it so you could see things on your dashboard. Or if you want it emailed to you, you turn that status on and get all of that set up. The last portion I'm going to cover in the Admin tab here is the users. So just note that you can have as many users set up in the system as you want with different access levels and roles. So what that means is if you have a maintenance manager who you only want dealing with the maintenance portion of the system, you could set that up so they'd see only what pertains to them. Also, moving all the way back up to the top, we're going to just land on the product guide here. It's a great tool to use if you're kind of stuck in the system and you want to go back. You can click on anything and it's going to give you screenshots on how to add things. So it's a great tool to use if you just want kind of quick